It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Project Potter. Welcome back to Ho Ho Oh, our Project Potter holiday special, guys. My name is Kylie, your host. Welcome to the channel. We're doing 25 straight nights of Christmas reviews, guys, and tonight we're here for night 15, Jingle All The Way, the Arnold Schwarzenegger 1996 movie. I have never seen this movie before tonight, guys, and let me tell you, I had a blast with this movie. If you haven't seen this before, guys, what we're going to do is go through my favorite thoughts or my favorite scenes, a favorite character, a worst character, or at least favorite character, score out of 10, and the Ho-Oh-Oh rankings for 15 movies deep, guys. So thanks for checking out the channel, and let's go. I'm so tired of this Turbo Man. This movie starts, and I'm like, do I have the right movie? Like, I had to check the app, be like, is this, what's going on here? I felt like I was watching a Power Rangers movie. And this was obviously 96, guys. There was the height of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and action figures, and times were different. It was before the iPhone, it was before all these crazy things. And a couple of fun things about going back to this movie is that times were simpler in a way, right? And so this is a classic story about Arnold Schwarzenegger's character Howard, who's working too much, and he gets never home for Christmas. Guys, I didn't know little Anakin Skywalker was the kid. I was like, we got little Annie? Little Annie. Hey, little Annie. This just opens up and it's like, this is the Turbo Man movie or commercial, and it's marketing for Turbo Man, and everyone's got a Turbo Man, and it's a cool little action thing, and he jets away and stuff. And part of the movie and most of the movie is Arnold Schwarzenegger, and man, Arnold Schwarzenegger is such a ridiculous human being. I had such a blast with this movie, and every single line that he had was goofy and funny and hilarious. And he's just such a enormous human being, and he's so expressive, and he's overacting so much, but it's so good and it's so perfect because they had so much fun with this movie. And he's going through the McDonald's play place or whatever, and the little girl's got the ball where he's trying to get a Turbo Man for his son because they're like, oh, you didn't forget the doll, did you? And he's like, and it zooms in on him. He's like, I forgot the doll. I'm just looking for Turbo Man. I cannot get a Turbo Man anywhere. And he's like, I'm tired of Turbo Man this, Turbo Man that. And I just really, really enjoyed my time with Schwarzenegger and his character and the ridiculous, low stakes story and how he's going through. And Sinbad's the mailman, and he's like, oh, I need a Turbo Man for my kid too. And their Turbo Man are sold out everywhere. And then we get the whole scene where he goes and finds a bunch of Santas who are behind, in a warehouse or behind a shop or something. And they're all dressed up and they're selling counterfeit Turbo Men. They're falling apart so easily. And there's a whole scene where all the Santas in all different shapes and sizes are going to fight Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he's like, I will not punch a Santa. There's a guy that's just wearing overalls and the Santa suit. And he's like, I'm about to deck your halls. And I was like, oh, dude. And it's just so ridiculous and funny. And one of the little Santas gets thrown into the cabinet and stuff. And he's like, oh, you're being a naughty boy. And all the Santas are coming at him. And he's fighting off all these Santas. One guy's got a taser, and I'm like, this movie's so outrageous, dude. Sinbad's the mailman, and the ball's bouncing around and trying to get the ball, and he's pushing over people, and they're calling him a pervert because he goes down the slide. Give me the ball, little girl, and it's just funny, dude, and it's so ridiculous, and it's I would say less. Definitely takes time during Christmas, and it's the holiday season stuff, but it's more of a goofy, semi-action, not action movie, but just it's more of a Power Rangers movie than it is of a Christmas movie. And I was completely fine with that. It was just really funny, dude. Obviously, guys, he's trying to get a Turbo Man no matter what, and he's never home. And then we get Ted, who's the neighbor or whatever, who's making sexual advances on his wife. And it's weird because all the women are attracted to him, and Ted is the dorkiest guy, and she's like, oh, maybe you can come over and take a look at the porch. And he's like, I've got just the tool for the job. And I was like, oh, some sexual innuendos here. I don't understand why the women were attracted to Ted, but at the end he goes for the wife. The wife's not into it, but Arnold Schwarzenegger's coming at him, and then he turns into Turbo Man. And that was cool because obviously his kid is looking for Turbo Man. And first of all, let's talk about how the Turbo Man suit, guys, has a full propulsion jetpack like Iron Man. This technology is just existing. And at the beginning, he's like, oh, and he goes all the way up and he can't control it. And then at the end, when his son's in danger, they're like, "Oh, Turbo Man, use your boosters or whatever." And he's like, "Oh," and he doesn't know because he doesn't watch the show. And then he's shooting discs at Demenstro or whatever his name is, the guy with the big brain, Sinbad, who's just like, I guess kidnaps the other guy or knocks the other guy off of the roof and then zip lines in and he's like, give me the doll, little boy. And it's like, what's going on here, man? And Arnold Schwarzenegger gets like punched in the face with that, like the guy's fist that goes off, and then they're like, "Oh, looks like the Turbo Man's been defeated," and then he just comes up and he's like, "Yeah, this is cool." He's like, I'm shooting." He's like, "This is cool. Jamie, come here," and he's like, "He knows my name," and he's like, "Jamie, of course I know your name because I'm your father." And I'm like, okay, dude. Oh man, this movie is just a riot. And then obviously he like his son literally is gonna fall to his death, and he uses the jetpacks and saves him. And then it's funny because he's like it's such a unique figure, but he's like his voice is so unique and he's huge. He takes his helmet off and he's like, "Because it's me," and they're like, "Howard," and it's like if Batman was just talking normally as Bruce Wayne, and then suddenly Bruce took off the mask, and they're like, "Oh my God, Bruce Wayne!" They would be like, "Yeah, we know it was you, dude. You're the only one that's this size and this big, and the only one that like talk like your voice is so distinct. So of course we know it's you." So that was funny, but yeah, guys, this movie's just a ton of fun. The plot isn't like crazy, but the runtime was nice. It was nice and quick, but I was just like laughing throughout, and I had a good time. And it's fun and doesn't take itself too seriously. If anything, it knows how goofy it is, and it really leans into that. And it's like, there's so many scenes where Arnold Schwarzenegger like goes into the building, and he's like, "Oh," and it's just like he knows how goofy and crazy he is, and he's such a nice guy. And like the beginning of the movie, guys, where he's like, "Because you're my best customer," and then he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and his wife is like, oh, like she couldn't believe it. And it's just, I just knew like we were in for something fun. And yeah, just it's a good time. All right, guys, that brings us to our favorite character. I mean, dude, do I have to say it? Do I even have to say it? I'm so sick and tired of this Turbo Man. Arnold Schwarzenegger. He is so good, man. Him just being a presence in this movie, like him just being in this movie, his presence completely elevated everything. Every line he said was funny because of the way he delivers it and his accent and just him running around. And it's so funny how he like jumps for stuff and he's like, "Oh," and like he's just so way over the top expressive. And I think if anyone else did that, it wouldn't be funny, it would be stupid. But Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's fun, it's action oriented, it's him being a goofball, and it's just great, dude. And he really, really like carries this movie, and it's great. And I had a great time, and it's a lot of fun. And it was different than some of these other Christmas movies we've been watching that have tried to take themselves too seriously, or they've tried to be funny, but it's just kind of weird. And this one, it's like it was goofy, and it knows it's goofy, but it leaned right into it. And Arnold Schwarzenegger was a big piece of that, so he's got to be my favorite character for this one. Okay, guys, my least favorite character, it's Ted. It's easily Ted, dude. Ted sucks. I don't understand why everyone's like, "Oh, I can't wait to sleep with Ted." It's like, dude, he's not fit. First of all, he's wearing glasses like a goof, and that's coming from someone who wore glasses for a while. But like, he's like a nerd, and he doesn't have any game, and it's weird. And they're like, "Come over and take a look at my porch," and he's like, "Okay," and it's like, "Okay, Ted, what's going on?" So I'm glad he gets rejected at the end there, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger would beat him to a pulp. So I don't know what's going on, but he's like, "Oh, I wish their father was present," and then it's like, okay, but it's also weird. He's like hanging up their star and stuff, and she's like, "Actually, Howard usually does that," but it's like, why is this man in the house so much? Arnold Schwarzenegger's wife. What are we doing here, man? Is there something deeper going on there? I don't know. It's just weird. Ted sucks, and worst character for sure. Okay, guys, that brings us to the score, and this is going to be another shocker, guys, because I'm giving this one an 8.4. Guys, Turbo Man cannot be stopped. I didn't expect this movie to be very good. It's ridiculous. It's different than the other Christmas movies that we've reviewed so far, but guys, this is such a great time. This is a fun time. Arnold Schwarzenegger sells it. I love Turbo Man. It's almost like Iron Man before Iron Man, but it's ridiculous, but he knows it. But I just love how he like gets to fulfill the dream of being in a suit. And then his kid gets to see him. He gets to save his kid. And he's like, "This is so cool. I'm shooting the rings out of here. Yeah." And it's just great. And I just love how he's like, "I'm so tired of Turbo Man. I'm so tired of Turbo Man. I've had enough of Turbo Man." And then he gets to be Turbo Man. And like, that's so cool, dude. And now he fucking loves Turbo Man. And mostly Arnold Schwarzenegger carrying this movie, but this movie is funny throughout. I had a great time. It was just like breakneck pace, but it was like, it respects your time. It knows it's goofy. It knows it's silly. It's not trying to be this crazy like Christmas classic. But guys, this is a fun movie. And it's like we needed a change of pace after a couple of duds, I would say. So maybe it's the timing, maybe it's just me not seeing this movie before, but this is a movie I feel like I could throw on at any time, and it's so ridiculous. Something happens, and then the wife just goes, "God damn it, Howard!" I'm like, it's just really funny the way it's like there's certain lines that I'm like those should have been cut, but that's what makes this movie so fun and so funny. And yeah, guys, I could especially I watched this sober. I could throw a couple drinks back, dude. Throw this on and have a great time. But it's like Turbo Man is so cool and it's cheesy, but having a full like jetpack propulsion system in 1996 is wild. So it's obviously like very like futuristic tech, but yeah, dude, Turbo Man reigns supreme. Number one, guys, we have Spirited at a 10 out of 10. I'm going to stick by that, and I'm going to keep telling you I'm going to stick by it. Is it because I'm trying to convince myself it's a 10 out of 10? Nah, it's because I believe in what I believe, and I want to reiterate that. So that's why we get Spirited, number one, 10 out of 10. Then we get number two, Home Alone, guys, at a 9.9. Then we get number three, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, at a 9.8. Number four, Bad Santa, at a 9.3. We get number five, The Night Before, at 8.6. And guys, Turbo Man is going to slot in at number 6 because he's shooting lasers out of his arms and he's running and he's jumping after balls. When he misses little Annie's karate contest, he should have been like, "Look, Annie, I don't want you to go down a path of hate. Fear leads to hate, hate leads to the dark side. We don't want that. So how about this event I missed? Let's make sure it does not come back to haunt me because Turbo Man will come for you." So number 7, guys, we have Just Friends at 8.3. Number 8, How the Grinch Stole Christmas at 8.2. Number 9, A Muppet Christmas Carol at 7.4. Number 10, Klaus at a 7.1. Number 11, Deck the Halls at a 6.5. Number 12, The Polar Express at a 6.1. Number 13, A Charlie Brown Christmas at a 5.7. Number 14, Christmas with the Cranks at a 5.3. And then, guys, rounding out the list at number 15, A Christmas Story at a 2.5. And that is where our Ho Ho Oh rankings shape up through 15 movies. All right, guys. Well, that's it. That's another episode of Ho Ho Oh, our Project Potter Holiday Special, guys. 25 straight nights. We haven't missed a night yet, guys. I'm pretty tired from doing these every night, but I do it for you guys. I do it for the people. I do it for the Christmas spirit. I do it for Turbo Man. And so, guys, suit up, jetpack off. Until tomorrow night, guys.